And good afternoon, St. George. This is Michael Harding.
And Christina Harding.
Here for On the Arts. And of course, our purpose is to blow the lid off of all these little secrets that are around St. George and also all of southern Utah. These secret artistic opportunities to experience as an audience member or to go in and actually get your hands dirty and do some stuff. We're happy to have members and representatives of all of the arts on this show. And we're starting to focus a little bit more on music. And
yes.
we've got some exciting stuff for you.
Yes. Oh, today we have a beautiful guest in our studio. Her name is Michaeline Ibsen. Welcome, Michaeline.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Hey, howdy, girl. I'm just going to read a little bit of your bio that we got about you, and I'd like to brag about you just a little bit. Is that all right?
Sure,
okay,
go for
here
it.
we go. Michaeline has over 15 years of professional performing experience under her boots, which I like that, her boots. She began singing at bands at a young age and performed all over the western United States at various fairs and events. Michaeline moved to Nashville and signed on with the Artist Development Network and did some work as a demo singer for hit songwriter Don Goodman, who is most famous for his song Angels Among Us. Wow. Mm-hmm. She plays guitar and piano and found her love of writing her own songs while in Nashville. Michaeline has been commissioned to write many songs and jingles for companies and for people to use personally. Her most popular original, Heaven Needed You More, has garnered over 1 million, almost 1 million views.
800,000 right now is where we're sitting.
We're getting up
only
there.
800,000.
We're only 800,000. Wow.
We're getting there.
This is on YouTube.
Yep.
She has won many singing competitions, including the Colgate Country Showdown, Hawk Idol, 99.9 Coney Country Showcase, SWSWA Songwriting Contest, and Talent Quest International Karaoke Contest, where she took first among contestants from all around the world. Michaeline has 2 albums of original songs available on iTunes and Amazon.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Oh, wow. We are so honored. Yes, there's a CD.
Ta-da.
There's one.
There
we go. Okay.
For those of you
Yes.
who weren't able to see that, we are broadcasting live video as well on Radio
Yes,
St.
we're not just making
George on
sounds. We're
Facebook.
showing her music here. Yes, her albums are out.
And also, we are doing live stream on Facebook, but also on YouTube. If you do want to see this, I say quite a bit on this. I really
That's
am
right.
a little more intelligent than that.
Yeah.
But on Facebook at Radio St. George, you can see the live stream. And you can also check us out right now. It will be archived, though, and on YouTube as well. If you type in Radio St. George, you should be able to see this.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, welcome to our show,
Thank you.
Michaeline.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, the reason that we asked you on today is because I've known you for a while. We did a community play, Scarlet Pimpernel, a few years ago,
so
and you were so much fun. And then over the
you.
years, I have watched you just blossom as a
you.
performer and a singer, a songwriter. And I was just wanting to ask you, what gave you the power, the motivation to start this journey in your life?
I think it's just something that's always been instilled in me. And I think when you become a mom or you get married and you kind of leave those dreams behind, you just kind of don't think about them anymore. But music is something that is so strong in my heart and my soul that, like, I feel like if I don't sing like at least once a day or do something with it, like I get sad. And I feel like I get physically ill almost because I'm not exuding, I think, the gifts and the talents that God has given me. And so I would say that God gave me the strength to go to do it, because without him, I don't feel like I could do anything. And, you know, also support from my family. Like, you guys know, you're in theater. It takes like a whole team to make stuff happen. And so, you know, my family as well, believing in me and pushing me to share my songs. And because it took me a long, long time to even be confident enough to share my songs, because they're like your kids. Like, this is something that came from your heart and soul, and you're just going to put it out there for the world to judge and to be like, oh, well, it's not that great, you know, so, which, you know, I've gotten that a lot, so.
Yeah. Well, you say a long time. How long was it before you started making your publications known?
My first album came out in 2013, so just 5 years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, I moved to Nashville right after high school, and I did that whole journey, and so but then I came home. I just felt really deflated in Nashville, and it was quite the experience. It's not, you know, what people think it is, and it's a lot of hard work, and you're compared a lot to people, and you're judged more physically on your appearance than your musical ability most of the time.
Interesting. Yeah,
You know?
we all know that. Yeah.
So my self-esteem was just like shot after that. And I just came home and got married, and I left the dream behind, and I didn't do anything with it for years until I released my album finally.
And what started you to finally come back? And was there a moment where you said, this is my moment, I'm going to go forward?
Well, it was just funny because I was working as a waitress at Texas Roadhouse.
Yum.
And I know.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the food. I don't miss sweeping up peanuts all night, though. You know.
There's a good song in that.
I know. I'm like, there's got to be
Sweeping
something.
up nuts from the restaurant floor.
Yes, exactly.
You can use that. That's all right.
Yeah.
Totally. I know. And people would come in and be like, how come you're not singing anymore? You know? And I just was like, oh, I don't know. Like, and then just one day, well, I hurt myself. I was swing dancing with my husband, and he dropped me, and I hurt my ankle really bad, like completely.
Oh, no.
So I was in bed for a while, and I was reorganizing my songs and going through folders because like I need something to do here. And as I was going through my folder, I was just like, you know what? These aren't bad. Like, they're really okay to share. And I think that was just like the moment that I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm just going to put them out there, and I don't care. And so, and other artists inspired me, like Lindy Butler. Do you guys know Lindy Butler? She's amazing and wonderful. And my friend Eric and
Eric Dodge.
Eric Dodge, they were all like, why aren't you doing this? Like, you need to do it. And so just super supportive, you know, and believing in me and my songs and my talent. And it was inspiring to see them succeed. And I was like, if I can do this, like, if they can do it, and they're supporting me, and they're saying that I'm okay and good, then here we go.
Why not?
So that was it. I'm pretty sure.
But how did you get started? I remember reading somewhere that when you were 13, you realized that Leanne Rimes, a name that some people may know as well, started at 13. And there was a quote in an article where you said, if she can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, had you been doing it up to that point and then decided, I'm going to take this to another level?
Yeah, well, I was just singing like karaoke tracks I'd practice in my room all day long when I was, 12, 13 years old. And then Leanne Rimes came out, and I was just like, she's not singing in her room. She's singing on the stage. I was like, I could do that too. And so my mom had told somebody in the community. I lived in a small town called Oakley, Utah. I don't know if you guys know where that is. Tiny little town. And my mom was like, my daughter sings, like, she'll put together this program for your event. And I did. It was my very first program. My mom said she watched the whole program, and she was just like in shock. Like, she was just thought I was kind of just like a karaoke kind of pipe dream like girl up until I did this whole like half-hour program by myself. And
how old were you?
I was like 13 years old.
Wow.
I know. And so once that happened, and people started knowing that I sang, I got called to sing all the time, and then we found a band, and I would sing with bands here and there. And, I sang at the Utah State Fair every year and the Summit County Fair. And my mom drove me everywhere, like so many places. We went on so many adventures. Yeah. I met so many great people. And like just from the time I was 13 to 18, it was like, I am going to Nashville. Like,
yeah, that goal
what I am doing. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so how did your journey to Nashville take place?
It's really interesting. My mom met this lady. Her name was Kathy Lemon, and she owned the Artist Development Network. And she was like, just have her come out here and live with me. I need a nanny anyways. And so I did. I just went out there, and I didn't know anybody. I never met her before. My mom was like, well, let's ship you off, So I just left and took off and was like, here I go. And she's the one who got me connected to Don Goodman and to other songwriters. And that's when I started doing demos, which was awesome. But it was really hard.
Yeah.
You had like literally like 2 times or 3 times to listen to a song, make some notes, and go in and sing it. And yeah.
Intense. So, and how old were you when this took place?
So I was like 17 or 18. Yet.
Oh, young.
17. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Young. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's crazy because I look back and I listen to those demos, and I'm like, oh, my voice was not as good as it is now. It's crazy how your voice changes and develops. I feel like my voice is in its prime now. Like, like I know my instrument. I know what it can do. So, yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, that's right. I think it's really interesting that so many artists, when they discover that they have a penchant for something, they want to go to the place where it is.
Yeah.
For example, actors want to go to Broadway in New York or Nashville.
Yes.
A lot of musicians go there because that's the place to be.
Exactly.
And it seems to me that it's always when they go where their heart is that they really find their actual voice. Like you were saying in Nashville, they're turning out product, and it's a business of it. On Broadway, you get chewed up and spit out. But how wonderful that you came back here to St. George and you say, now you're in the prime of your voice. You're in a place where you found what you want and where you want to be. And how wonderful that you get to sing from that place, not from someone else's.
Absolutely. I'm grateful for that. Now, of course, looking back, I was like, super sad and defeated that I'd come home and I was like, I'm never going to do it.
Of course.
I'm never going to be that person I want to be. But the thing is you can be whoever you want to be wherever it is. And that's the beauty of music these days is being an independent artist. Like you can put your songs on YouTube. You can get paid for them. You can iTunes. There's so many like resources for young and upcoming artists that we didn't have when we were
it's amazing
13 and I know it's incredible. So to be a part of it, even just a little bit is so awesome. So
I love something that you said earlier that was concerning to me, actually, and you actually just kind of went roundabout and fixed that. You said leaving your dreams behind. You used that phrase, I think, twice earlier in the interview.
Oh, geez.
And the dreams, I would say, just by observing you, they seem to come with you and they seem to be growing.
Yeah.
You mentioned the wonderful things about music, about being able to get it out there. You mentioned in an interview that you did, and by the way, we do stalk all of our guests.
We
do a little research. And we enjoy saying that every week or every other show.
It's our motto. Our theme.
We will stalk you legally, unless you make it illegal, and then we'll deal with it. But anyhow,
it's going too far.
In an article that you gave, I don't remember how many years ago, but it was after your song Heaven Needed You More. And you mentioned that it was wonderful. I believe what you said was the numbers are great, but what matters even more are the comments that you got, the people thanking you for what you said.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because I think that's every songwriter and artist's dream is to write a song that will change somebody's life or make them feel something. Like, I just want to make people feel something, and I get comments every single day on my YouTube channel, or I get an email, or I get something, thank you for writing this song. And the sweet girl who actually reached out to me to write that song, she's the one that started it all. And I told her, I said, I don't know if I'll be able to write this song. Like, I was pregnant at the time that I wrote it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I will try my best. And I could not write that song for months. Like, I tried and nothing was coming. And then I was sitting down at the piano one day and I was like, okay, I'm really going to try here. And then I was just like so frustrated, and I stood up and I was like, there's nothing I could write or say that would ease her pain. There's nothing. And then the first line came, and then the rest of the song just came. It was just insane. Like, my husband was like, oh, leave her alone. Like, something's coming,
Inspired.
So yeah. And so it really is like the dream has grown, and it has, looking back, of course, when you're young, you don't think it's going to, but you just never know. Yeah. Like, you just keep showing up and you keep going, and you never know when something's going to stick with people. So it's amazing.
So many of your songs are available on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you just type in Michaeline Ibsen, and that's IPSON.
Yes.
We actually have the YouTube clip, the YouTube clip of Heaven Needed You More. Are you okay if we play this for our listeners?
Sure.
Fantastic. Yeah. This is Heaven Needed You More, and this is Michaeline Ibsen.
I can't describe the heartache. No words of comfort anyone can say. I've never felt a pain like this before. A piece of my heart died with you, but I guess heaven needed you more. But I can't understand exactly what for. Is this the trial of my faith? A lesson to be learned so quickly return. I gotta get up off the floor. I trust that heaven needed you more. I came home to an empty nursery. Your cries and laughter fill this room. This was not the way I planned it. Oh Lord, I need comfort from you, but I guess heaven needed more. But I can't understand exactly what for. Is this a trial of my faith? A lesson to be learned? Why did my mate come to earth, then so quickly return? I gotta get up off the floor and trust that heaven needed you more. My arms are empty, but you'll remain in my heart. Just remember, Mommy loves you, and we're not really far apart. Yes, heaven needed you more. And I'm starting to understand exactly what for. It's been a trial of my faith. So many lessons have been learned. Yes, my faith came to earth, and then so quickly returned. But I'm up off the floor. I know that heaven needed you more.
And that was absolutely beautiful, Michaeline. I have to tell you, when I was doing some research earlier today to find some clips to play on the show, I had trouble getting through it. It's absolutely beautiful, and the message is wonderful. I have to ask
Some of the
you,
personal touches that I really
how do you come up
are
with the
fact
stories
that I can
that are
add a
in the
note
music you
app
write?
That lets me say, hey, please substitute this item if you don't have
I
this.
think I find inspiration everywhere. It comes from everyday life. A lot of it is my kids. I've written a lot of songs about my daughter. I wrote a song off of a Facebook post once. Like somebody posted just like pray for rain because we're in the desert and there's always a drought. And I was like, oh, that's a great title for a song, and so sorry, I'm just like crying here. I've never been able to perform "Heaven Needed You More" live. Like I've never done it, so I'm like I don't know if I could ever do it. Yeah. So, but yeah, like it's crazy. Inspiration just comes and it's sometimes so fast. God bless the military wife. I was watching the news and watching, a woman send her husband off to war, and I wrote that song in 10 minutes. It's crazy. So,
Wow.
And what was that song?
God Bless the Military Wife.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were actually saying God Bless That Military
Oh,
Wife.
yeah. That's the name of the song.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's crazy. It just comes like everywhere. And I'm always open to it. I always have like my notebook ready, or, I'm just always open to receive any inspiration that comes anytime. So,
Well, what helped you? You said before it was always you felt you weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Things were never good enough.
yeah.
What helped you to get rid of that block so that you could be receptive to those thoughts and inspirations that were coming to you?
Geez, that is a great question. I've
Thank
never
you.
actually thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
what help me get over that? As I mentioned before, probably just the support of everybody, just people pushing me. I think it's just constant reassurance when you're an artist. Like, you are good enough, you are okay. Especially when you've heard no so many times and you've been rejected so many times.
Yeah.
You just start to believe that in your mind. And I've always had low self-esteem as a kid. I was bullied in middle school, and so I had like a self-esteem coach, and which I think everybody should have a self-esteem coach.
Oh, yes. Right? Yeah. We all need one.
Life is hard, and
in our
people are
closet.
mean.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, just having constant support and encouragement is, I think, what finally was like, okay, like I can do this. So, yeah.
Do you think maturing and over the years with your kids? And
yes,
suddenly
absolutely.
Become wiser
Yeah,
as we get older.
wiser
and why?
and more confident and more sure of yourself, and you know who you are. You know that people love you. They're not going to leave you. So yeah.
But did becoming a parent deepen your songs at all? I know
yes.
when I had children, my gosh, Finding Nemo became the most profound,
heartbreaking,
moving I had
perfect
ever
story
seen.
ever.
Right?
We still cry when we watch Finding Nemo.
I know.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah.
And Dumbo.
Dumbo. Oh, I can't even do Dumbo. Can't even watch that one.
They're making
No.
like a live one now, and I'm like,
I don't know if
oh,
I can.
man.
I've heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so I'm
no.
excited for that, but I'm still like, I don't know if I can watch it.
No.
People make fun of my baby, I'd be like,
Yeah, I know. That's Mama
Become
Bear.
that elephant
Yes.
that gets locked up.
Yeah.
Let me
Yes,
ask, I'm going to
it totally
change the
does.
tone just a little bit here, because I still am kind of reeling from the song Heaven Needed You More.
Yeah.
Let's talk yodeling.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there.
Let's talk yodeling.
Yay.
I found some interesting references to yodeling, and also the reactions of your mother to your yodeling and
man.
such. Tell us about that.
Yeah, my mom. So, we talk about Leanne Rimes a lot because I was like her biggest fan, and she recorded Cowboy Sweetheart on one of her albums, and I played that song over and over and over, and I tried to learn how to yodel just by listening to her do it. So I would do it over and over, and my parents were just like, if we hear that song one more time, my mom was like, you sound like a dying cow. She's like, you need to stop. You need to stop trying to yodel because it's not working. It's not happening. But like, I'm a pretty like, what's the word I'm looking for? I persevere through things, I feel like, and I don't give up easily. So I was just like, I will show you, Mom. I will show you that I will learn how to yodel. And I entered a talent contest. It was like this little local talent contest. And I'm like, I'm going to sing Cowboy Sweetheart. My mom's like, that's not a good idea. She's like, don't sing that song. Don't do it. And I won first place.
You got first
Yeah.
place.
And then
Your
after
yodel.
that, I kept entering talent contests, and that was like the song my go-to song. Every time I would win first place. Every time I sang that song, and my mom's like, "Okay, well, maybe it's okay now."
I'm curious. I want to hear a yodel.
Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay.
Yeah.
What I'm more impressed by than anything else is the fact when you started to yodel, I was ready to pull the slider down, for the volume, but you adjusted to the mic. I think that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been able to yodel. Yeah, but I didn't persevere. I just kind of gave up and said, okay,
It's just
I'll
all.
pursue something
It's
else.
weird. It's like all in the throat, almost like it's the total opposite from proper singing, almost. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun though.
Yeah.
So.
There are so many country artists. I have to admit, I'm not a country aficionado by any
Really?
means. I know.
Never would
really,
have
no.
guessed, Mr. Shakespeare.
I'll tell you. Well, Shakespeare was a big country fan.
Yeah.
But of course, there are names I think everybody recognizes. Leanne Rimes
Yes.
being one. Carrie Underwood, of
Yes.
course,
Oh, yes.
one of the most
Amazing.
recent. Shania Twain made her
Yes.
little shift to another kind of music, and even, dare I say, Taylor Swift made
Right.
a little shift to another kind of music. There was one name that kept coming up in my research, and that was Reba McEntire.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, this is my little personal connection to Reba McEntire. I spent some time in Greenville, South Carolina. I had a great time down there, and there is a huge Reba following. There's the Church of Reba, if you will. Now,
I need to go there.
it was wonderful, except I was always amazed that wives particularly were okay with this, but there was a comparison phrase that was used, that's almost as beautiful as Reba. And almost every guy that I knew would say this. You know, their wife would come out and say like, oh, you're almost as beautiful as Reba. And everybody just accepted this. Well, the Jenkins were some very good friends of mine, Connie Jenkins and Ted Jenkins. And Connie and I worked together at the Warehouse Theater. And I pulled her aside one time and I said, doesn't that bother you? The fact that everybody's being compared to Reba McEntire, you particularly, and the other wives and such. And she was like, oh, honey, don't even worry about it. We've got George Clooney. And I thought, all right. Well, that's what, Reba, if you're listening, and I know you are, you
sure
have a
she
following
is right
down
now.
there.
Oh, that is so funny.
Gotcha. So tell me, how has somebody like Carrie Underwood influenced you? I mean, she certainly does have a modern take. We talked about country all the way back through last century, really.
Yeah, watching her on American Idol. I'm sure you watched her on there.
Oh, yeah. I've been a fan of hers from the get-go, you know? I was like, if this girl does not win, like, and she is so awesome, like, because she's going on tour. Well, she's pregnant right now, but, she, you know, next year she's going on tour, and she has, let's see, Runaway June and Maddie and Tay opening for her, which are all female artists, which I feel like is so needed in country music these days because there's so much bro country and, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, come on, like, where are the females? Like, you know, so it's awesome to see her represent, you know, and to have that girl power. So
she's classy.
Oh, she's so classy and beautiful. And everything that she does, I'm just like, geez, the girl can do no wrong. Like, she's just amazing. So,
but I think it's interesting. She but she was well known from American Idol.
Yeah.
And I look at, in your bio, you have a lot of competitions that you've entered. Something I'm impressed by, and I would love to hear you address, is the fact that you're willing to do the competitions and such. There is this kind of, oh gosh, what am I looking for? This attitude towards the competitions and such of, no, those are below art. But I have to tell you, Michaeline, having you here in the studio, you are very warm. You're down to earth. You're talking to us. And we've just heard an example of a song that is very rich, very deep and such. And you're willing to play in these popular competition arenas.
Yeah.
Local country showcase. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's how do you feel about those shows, American Idol and things of that sort?
Well, I did audition for American Idol. So I had
Do tell.
twice.
Twice.
Yes.
Okay.
This is like a long story though. So I'm like, how much time do we have?
Excited. No.
We'll do a two-parter show.
Local competitions I love. I feel like they have given me a platform to be a local artist and for people to recognize my name and to get my name out there a little more. So I love those. American Idol and The Voice, I've kind of been more behind the scenes and I've seen things that happen that make me kind of wonder like what in the world is going on here. And now it feels like if you don't have a viral video, like you're not going to be on the show. Like that's kind of how I see it nowadays.
It worked out for Meghan Trainor just a little bit.
Right. I know.
Interesting.
But kind of like the beginnings of Idol, I think were the best years because I feel like they just got real people, you know, and like now it's like, oh, if you have a viral video, you can be on this show. I don't feel like people really want to see that. They've already seen them in their viral video. They want to find somebody, I think, that is like them, you know, just like that's how Carrie Underwood was. She'd never been on a plane. She'd never seen Kelly Clarkson living in her car, you know, just these people who are incredible and you've given them a chance. And, you know, I'm not saying that Idol is all bad, but when I auditioned the first time, I got to the third round. There's like 3 rounds you have to go to before you get to the judges. Wow. And so I got to the third round and then they cut me. And then I saw them like put all these bad people in, you know, of course, to make fun of them. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, why are they doing this? All these people just to make fun of them. It's so mean. So I was like, what would happen if somebody went in there that was dressed in a costume, but they were really good? And so that's what I did. I went to Austin, Texas.
You did not.
I dressed like an armadillo because I'm not lying, you guys. At Texas Roadhouse, I used to do like the parades and stuff, and I would dress up like the armadillo. It was part of my job at Roadhouse.
Oh my gosh.
I took the costume.
You wore your armadillo costume.
Yes, I did.
You go,
A lot of
girl.
people don't know this.
That's fantastic.
But yes, I was like, I'm gonna wear this costume. I'm gonna see what happens, and I'm just gonna be really good, of course. And then what are they gonna do? And I was like, let's just see if this is really about singing. And it wasn't. It was terrible. All they showed was the costume. I got to go in front of the judges, Jennifer Lopez and Randy and them, and they never showed my real audition. Because I took the costume off, of course. I said, this is part of my job. Like, it's really funny, haha.
Yeah.
I walked in there, I gave my audition. I sang Cry Me a River by Crystal Gale and nailed it. I thought I nailed it. And they just sat there, like, looking at me like, what do we do with this girl? Because, like, we can't put her through because we were showing her as the armadillo because that's, like, what's going to give us the ratings.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, never ever showed my face at all, nothing.
Oh.
And so it was just interesting. I was kind of like, and Jennifer Lopez was like, oh, you have such a beautiful tone. You're so good. And the Aerosmith guy, what's his name? I can't, Steven Tyler.
Steve Tyler,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steve Tyler.
He was
suited
like,
for
yeah,
Steve
man.
Tyler.
Yeah, he was like, yeah,
Oh.
man, you're really good. And then all of a sudden, Randy Jackson comes in and he's like, this is season 10, dog. We just got to raise the bar. And he was so mean. And I was like, And then I was just kind of like, it hit me and I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is not about me being an artist. Like, it just like was like
Ratings.
clicked right then, which was terrible. I should have known before, but it's just about ratings. So yeah, the big armadillo was me.
Well, that's amazing.
I'm going to YouTube this, see what I can find.
You will find it, and it is so sad. Like it is. We can look it up if you want to, like after the show or something.
That's great.
But yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, that's a great realization for a lot of these young kids right now that think, oh, I want to get on American Idol. I want to get on these big shows. I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And the reality sets in of what it's about ratings.
It is about
And
ratings.
That's hard.
Yeah. And you sign a contract that says they can use your story and your personality, your whatever, in any light that they want. They can portray you however they want.
Oh, wow.
Which is like kind of frustrating. And it's the same with The Voice. I've heard their contract is really rough.
Tough.
And so people just say, you're better off being an independent artist and controlling everything. My husband has his own sound business and we have everything umbrellaed underneath my music and his music stuff. And, we have our own stuff.
What year did you
It's
try out
awesome.
for American Idol? What year was that?
2008 was the first year. And then 2010, I think it was, or 11. I think it was 2011 maybe. But my friend actually won American Idol that year. The guy I auditioned with, Caleb Johnson, won that year.
Yeah.
I remember Caleb. Okay.
Yep. And we were buddies throughout the whole process.
Oh,
We
wow.
still get in touch every now and
Yeah.
then. So
What?
it's crazy. I know.
Another compliment too. You did a competition, what about 2.5, 3 years ago in Las Vegas? And I was impressed with your response to winning. It was what, $2,500 or something like that, and it was great. Your response was, "We need a crib.
Yeah.
This is wonderful."
Reality.
It was awesome. Yep.
I think anyone listening to that, though, could relate to that. They're
Totally.
Like, yeah, this lady gets it.
Mama needs a
what's
new pair of
real
shoes.
around here?
Dude, I need diapers.
I need
like,
diapers.
I know.
This is the reality.
This
That's what I've noticed in your music is that it comes from your soul, your
I'm
heart.
so glad you noticed
And
that.
you know
I
that's
try.
that touches anyone listening because that's what people need to hear. Sometimes we can't verbalize how we're feeling, and that's why we listen to a song because
Exactly.
it states how we're feeling. And yeah, you're in tune with that.
Thank you.
Well, and something I'm impressed. I keep telling you all the things I'm impressed with here.
Yeah.
There's got to be something you're not impressed with. I don't know.
Okay, Michaeline, let's talk about this. There's
I have lots of flaws.
there's the stereotype of country music.
Oh, yes.
And the whole thing, oh, my dog left me and my woman
There's a
drank all my beer
tear
and
in
all
my
that.
Beer. Yep.
Everything that you have, I've looked through a lot of your titles and they're all pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to the one that I have to say again, I had trouble getting through today, the Heaven Needed You More.
Yeah.
It's not about the loss. It's about heaven wanting something,
Accepting.
needing something you have.
Getting up off the floor and moving
forward.
knowing that baby's watching over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you actually have a song that I'm rather fond of. I hope you don't mind if we play this one as well.
Play it, yes.
And what a wonderful title. Happiness Is.
This was the easiest one to write.
Okay, gotcha. Well, ladies and gentlemen listening to On the Arts, this is Michaeline Ibsen with her original song, Happiness Is.
All right, well, I've got a new original for you. And it's actually become one of my favorites to sing because it's such a happy song. It reminds me that it doesn't take a lot in life to be happy. We sometimes get so caught up in life. Life gets crazy and we think money will make me happy, or if I only had this, it would make me happy. But in all honesty, you are the only person that can make you happy, and the little things that are already in your life are what should make you happy. So this is what the song's about, and it's called Happiness.
White cotton dress, filled full of daisies, blue denim blanket, warmed by the summer sun. It's the little things that make life worth living. Stop and take a good look around. 'Cause happiness is an orange balloon tied around my wrist. Happiness is a blissful, perfect, sweet first kiss. Happiness is cotton candy on a canvas set, rolling down grassy hill, wishing on a shooting star, knowing someday you'll go far and live for everything it's worth. That's what happiness is. Dandelion dust, blowing my wishes in the wind, the feeling of your touch on my wrist. I love these little things that make life worth living. Stop and take a good look around. 'Cause happiness is watching the clouds roll on by. Happiness is catching lots of fireflies. Happiness is dancing in the pouring rain, driving down the country lane, singing to the radio, making angels in the snow, and living life for everything it's worth. That's what happiness is. Oh, life goes by so fast. Slow down before it's past. 'Cause happiness is orange balloon tied around my wrist. Happiness is a blissful, perfect, sweet first kiss. Happiness is cotton candy on every cent, rolling down the grassy hill, wishing on a shooting star, knowing someday you'll go far and live your life for everything it's worth. That's what happiness is. That's what happiness is. Yeah.
How can you listen to that and not just have a smile on your face?
Jam out.
I wanna
I was watching Michael Lean through that whole thing.
I was laughing
Jamming
at
out.
myself.
It's fantastic.
I'm going to say, you have got to check out the live feed on Radio St. George. We just watched Michaeline Ibsen dance with herself,
And watch
right.
it, yeah.
and it was absolutely delightful.
Doing a jig. The recording is like so much better than my little YouTube there, but yeah.
Well, what I love about that is it was very raw.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love your little message at the beginning and such. How wonderful to have an artist be able to talk about their work with their audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
I try. Yeah. So I love that one because it was just like so easy to write. It was just all about things that make me happy. It was like I just started writing down a list of stuff and I was like, there's a song right there.
There you go. That's
Like an orange balloon tied around your wrist.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So my daughter was at the fair, the county fair, and we were actually listening to Lindy Butler, and she had an orange balloon tied around her wrist, and she was dancing around just like happy as could be. And I was like, oh, happiness. Right there. That's what it is.
How dare you put happiness in a song?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It'll never be on the radio. No, just kidding. It was just barely. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Well, we had the pleasure of watching you rock out to your own song here. Where are you going to be performing? Where can we see you? Where can our audience say, I'm going to hear Michaeline Ibsen?
Actually, that's funny. Tomorrow I have a show, and I was like, I've been so busy. I haven't really promoted it on Facebook or anything, but I'm performing out at Sand Hollow Resort from 6 to 9:30. So I'm dinner music, background music kind of, but sometimes people get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's super fun. So yeah, Sand Hollow Resort tomorrow night. I'll be there 6 to 9:30. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the calendar I have coming up. I don't think so. It's September, but you never know. Stuff comes all the time.
Yeah, you get offers
so,
and you just run and go.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of people that write to you or message you about questions about they want to get started?
Oh yeah, all the time.
They're like, "How did you do this?"
All the time. Oh yeah, and like people always ask me like, "Do you do voice lessons and stuff?" I'm like, "No, I don't. Like, I just need to send them to you, Christina." I'm like,
and I've been sending a few people over to you saying, "I've got some writers."
And the people are saying, "We're so confused."
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, all the time. And like, I don't charge anything. I just say, come over and hang out with me.
Oh, you don't even charge.
No. I don't even know like what I would charge to be like, this is what you need to do. Just
open that door.
Yeah. And I've helped a couple of young up and comers. And so Celeste Carter and a couple of other girls.
How exciting. I know when I had a student a while ago, I watched her. She could sit at the piano and play and just sing, and this voice was amazing. But I watched it was it was a raw, solid, deep voice, and just different. And I watched her, but I could see that wall come up. The doubt would come, and she'd stop. And I don't think she realized that she could just perform in front of people with that piano. She didn't think, no, that's not right. Oh. And I thought, no, use the piano. And that's why I wanted her to get in touch with you, because I've seen what you've done, and she had that same doubt.
Yeah. It definitely just takes, I feel like, one or two people to like really believe in you, to push you to be like, yes, you can. So, because man, we are our own worst enemies,
aren't we?
We all are, and so
we are. Yeah,
having that support system is so key for any artist. So,
well, you talk about your support system and such in the video for "Heaven Needed You More."
Yes,
there's a gentleman playing the piano. Who is that?
That's my friend Jaden Webster. He's so awesome. Yeah, and he's known in the theater community here very well, but he is also an artist. He can sit down at a piano and play anything. He's written a few originals. He is like one of my favorite duet partners. We've put out a couple duets, and he's like my brother from another mother. Oh. He is the brother I never had, because nobody else in my family sings. I always see like people who are like the Osmonds, and I'm like, that's not even fair. Like, no, I sings in my family, but my mom plays violin and she sings and stuff, so she's the only one. But Jaden's like, seriously, I feel like he's like my brother. I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, he's great.
Well, it's very clear you have joy singing and enjoy writing these songs and such. That just exudes. You exude this. Yes. To take this full circle back to the beginning, both you and Christina were in The Scarlet Pimpernel together, a piece of theater.
Into the fire we go.
I have two questions for you. One, when are we going to see you in theater again? And two, what kind of theater draws you? Why do you do theater?
I love theater. Yeah. So many people don't know, like, that theater was like everything to me in high school. Like, I did drama, I did state drama, I did Shakespeare plays. I was Lady Olivia in 12th Night. Woo-hoo. I know, it was so fun. And I love Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare from forever ago. Like, when Romeo and Juliet came out, I was like, oh, all my friends are like, you're so weird. And I'm like, no. You don't understand. You don't understand it. And my husband's just like, I don't even know what this guy's saying. So
sometimes we don't either.
I love theater, and I wish I could do it more and all the time. And I don't feel like I've ever really had a chance here in St. George to, I've had little roles here and there and stuff, but never like a lead role or anything. But in high school, that was my thing. Like,
where did you go to high school?
Oh, Pineview High School.
Pineview.
Yes.
Great.
And Mr. Eaton and Mr. Lister were my teachers.
Mr. Eaton and Mr. Lister.
Norm Lister, if you're listening.
And they
Michael
my goodness.
Eaton.
They pulled out so much confidence in me as well. So, because I auditioned for Trilogy and I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't make the first cut and I was like really nervous. I was like, what can I do? And Mr. Lister helped me, give me some tips on how to like change the shape of my mouth so it didn't sound so country. And I love Broadway songs and theater and stuff like that. That's still such a huge part of me, but I don't get to show it very often. And I feel like I'm just kind of put in this box now that I'm just a country artist. And I'm like, let me sing some Wicked.
But we all know. Now you did sing Wicked at one point. I remember listening to you.
Yeah.
Yes, you put yourself out there. It was beautiful.
It was scary.
What from Wicked did you sing?
I have done a recording of Defying Gravity in a rock version, and then
that is not an easy song.
Oh, it's so hard. Holy moly. I was like, what am I doing right now? And then The Wizard and I sang that one. So Jaden was like, you have to sing this song. And so, I learned it. And I love it. So I get to sing at 2:00 every now and then, like for the pre-show with him.
Oh, you do pre-shows out there?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
And so that kind of like gets it out of me a little bit.
Yeah.
But then there's times that, so like I've auditioned for a bunch of stuff and I'm just like, oh, someday I'll just get back on the stage. So
sounds like all of us, yeah.
I don't know.
And you have 2 children, 2 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2, I can understand maybe a little young to know about the musical acumen, if you will. Or, I think just 2-year-olds are just loud
yes.
when it comes down to it.
Oh, yes.
Good lung capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But your 13-year-old, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about she.
Yeah.
I was about to make a real fool of myself on the radio. Does she show any interest in music?
She's a hip hop dancer, and that's like her thing.
What?
Oh yeah, she is awesome, and I have no clue where that came from because I am like not a dancer.
Yeah.
But I try to get her to sing in front of people, and she just kind of shuts down. So I don't want to be like the crazy stage mom that's like, get out there and sing. Because I was just barely at Peach Days. I did a show at Peach Days in Hurricane, and I had an hour slot, and I said, Ketta, please. Like, I was begging her. I was offering to pay her. I said, will you please sing A Million Dreams up there? And she's like, only if I can sing along with the people on the thing. And I said, no. Like, I need to hear your voice. Like, you need to just sing with the track, the karaoke track. She would not do it. She would not for nothing. And I was like,
yeah,
you're going to make me into a crazy stage mom right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't force her. So, and then she left because she knew I was going to come out in the audience and like pull her up there. She just left.
She knew you.
She
so
knew.
She's like,
So
Mom,
she's like,
no
I'm
way.
out.
You're not going to get me.
That is one smart cookie.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, she doesn't want to do the theater thing, and she just wants to dance, do hip hop and gymnastics, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do your thing.
Yeah.
I will support whatever she's into, but some days I really wish she would sing with me.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, we all have that dream with our children. We wish
Yeah.
they would sing and perform with us, and then
they
just go, Mom, no.
seriously. Yours too? Yours?
Yeah, my girls, they do a bit of film and they act a bit, but they're not as into it as I was. So, oh well, you know.
Oh well.
Yeah, well.
And what is that quote? We don't have goals, Mom. You do.
Yeah, that was what
what
quote
they
that was
said?
told to me.
We don't have goals.
It's you, Mom.
What?
Yeah, okay, thanks.
That is funny.
Yeah, well, we're successful parents.
Right?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I just want to say, on behalf of really anybody who knows your work and such, thank you for being willing to share your music, whether it be for money, whether it be for art's sake, or whether it be in a competition, a fun presentation.
Those competitions.
Your music means something.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing it.
You are
thank
reaching
you.
so many. I know personally so many mothers who've lost their children and military moms, and I've seen the impact that your music's had on them.
Thank you.
That's why I wanted you on the show, because I've seen what a local community person in our area can do. I mean, we've got so many neat people in this area that are gifted and inspired.
Amazing
and
people.
I don't know why, I really don't know why we seem to think that you have to leave to create an impact.
Yeah.
You can do so much good in your community. And look at how many you did impact from this area all over the world, hearing your music. And it came from your heart. And I really believe that couldn't have happened unless you've gone through your life experiences and then you're ready to share that. So hopefully,
Thank you. Yeah.
hopefully today, there's someone out. Is there something you can tell any mom or beginning singer out there, or something? What a bit of advice that you would give them if they have this desire?
I would just say to just do it. Like, just don't be scared and don't be afraid, and don't listen to those inner voices that tell you can't, because you absolutely can. It doesn't matter if people are like, oh, are you still singing? Sometimes I see people, I'm like, absolutely I am. Like, and I will be singing till I'm 100 years old in the nursing home. Like, it does not matter if you are 5 or 50. If you want to start, if you want to do it, I get messages even from moms, from people that say, how do you do it? And I say, you just do it. You just start. Like, I've seriously traded studio time for scrubbing toilets. I have scrubbed the studio's toilets because I wanted to record, and if there is a will, there is a way.
You got to work.
And you have to work a little bit. I mean, you can't just be like,
it's not going to be handed to you.
Like, I mean, I guess there are some lucky people who record one song and it goes viral, but for the rest of us, I feel like
reality.
Most of the time it's work. Like, music is wonderful and is fun and is amazing and beautiful, is still there is a little bit of work you got to do every now and then. So, Yeah.
Beautiful words.
So work and do it. Just
work and do it.
get out. And
Well,
be there.
Right.
Michaeline, I have to say, unfortunately, we are again
out
at
of
time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does go
goes-
fast.
We tell everyone it goes by fast. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I'm hoping this is just something that popped up. There's a quote that I'm actually very fond of that seems to encourage and also support what we've said. This is by the wonderful artist. Well, wonderful, that's a relative term if you do your research on this artist. But Kurt Vonnegut. And he says, go into the arts. I'm not kidding. The arts are not a way to make a living. They are a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow, for heaven's sake. Sing in the shower, dance to the radio, tell stories, write a poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. That's his quote, and I just want to add to that, you will have given something like you have to us, Michaeline. Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you
for
for
coming on
having
today.
this show. It's amazing.
Thank you for coming on
Thanks
today.
so much.
Yeah, we appreciate
A
it.
to the man to that quote.
A to the man.
To all of you listening to On the Arts, check us out again on Radio St. George for an archived video of this interview that we've had, also on YouTube. And look for us. We will be doing another show on Tuesday.
4 o'clock.
And who are our guests that day?
Oh, Chris McPhee. He's actually a stand-up comedian. We're very excited to have him on. Yeah. Oh, Chase McPhee. I'm sorry.
Chase
sorry,
McPhee.
Chase, if you're listening. It was Chase McPhee. I thought something doesn't sound right there.
Those of us close to him
Chase
call him
McPhee.
Chris.
He is an
you know.
upcoming stand-up comedian. He's just getting started, and he wanted to be on the show, and we're going to hopefully get his career going for him here in St. George.
Awesome.
So we're excited.
So
It'll be
join
fun.
us. And until you join us again, please keep your focus on the arts.